Welcome back, everyone. Well, bullying is so different in this day and age from what we grew up with. We're used to be able to just go home, lock your door, shut it out. But now with computers and smartphones and devices, it can follow your kids everywhere all the time.
Here to talk about the warning signs a child is being cyberbullied and offer advice on how to handle it is Scott Driscoll of Internet Safety Concepts, a company committed to helping families safely navigate the ever-changing world known as cyberspace. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So first of all, let's just start out. What is the definition of cyberbullying?
Cyberbullying is when a kid is tormented, repeatedly bothered, harassed, using today's technology. And that comes in so many different formats. And there's so many great positive things about today's technology. But when it's a repeated behavior where they're trying to insult, pick on, abuse, that's where things change a little bit. And that's where we've come to see cyberbullying has turned out to be.
What should we be looking for in our children? My children are a little young yet. My oldest is 8. She has her own email now through school, and she wants to be more involved, but we've kind of been holding her back. Once kids get of age to kind of get on the internet and start kind of going around, what should we be looking for signs for cyberbullying?
Well, one of the things I always say is start off with communication. If you're going to allow your kids to get on there, start off with open communication. All right, we're going to allow you to start with social media. Let's talk about the rules and as parents what our expectations are, but also open up that door for communication. Please let us know if anything goes wrong and start that way. When you start to look at the warning signs, when they jump into it, they're going to use it quite often. And one of the first warning signs that I talk to parents is if you think your child's wrong, all of a sudden their phone goes off, they get jumpy.
Okay.
They really use it every single day, and every moment they have their phone, and next thing you know, they don't have no desire to use it. That, I think, is the first step for a conversation. What's going on? You've changed your pattern and behavior of how you use technology. Is there something wrong? Now, it could just be they've moved on to something different, but as we see kids, they use technology quite a bit, most of it for good. If it all of a sudden stops or changes, that could be a warning sign that we have to look into.
And then we need to talk about it. And the other side is, of course, no one wants to think it's their kid, but what are the warning signs your child may be cyberbullying someone?
Well, there's a lot of different signs that go along with it. If your child's behaviors change where they may find something innocent, funny, now when you're watching TV, somebody's mean, they're laughing out loud, that could be signs of change of their behavior, not just online, but who they are, who they're hanging out with, who they're associating with. If your child is really reluctant and refuses to allow you to look at any of their social media accounts, there could be a reason. If they're constantly using what we call anonymous apps, why do they have to hide what they're saying?
What do we do as parents? Would you advise them to say, hey, you're the parents, take those apps off, they don't get to have them?
Certainly could. One of the things we can do is if we're going to allow our kids technology, there's ways that we can set it that they can't download an app unless we give permission. Yeah. And what I like about that is if you disable installing apps, child comes to you and says, I want to get this app. As a family, you can research it. What's the good? What's the bad about this app?
Great.
And come up with rules on how to use it appropriately. Because technology is not going away, and there's so many great things that we can do with technology, but if we lose our guard on safety, it can turn in the blink of an eye, and we have to make sure we have a good plan for it.
Wow.
Yeah, so is there an age, both of our kids are a little on the younger side, but is there an age where the cyberbullying tends to rear its ugly head more?
When social media and technology gets involved, and it's not just social media, texting. There's a lot of cyberbullying just over text messages and group text messaging. One of the things I always recommend to kids, don't take part in group text messaging. It starts off with, hey, how's everybody doing? The next thing you know, people are picking on each other, they're screenshotting it, they're forwarding comments to somebody that wasn't part of the conversation. We lose control. If we keep control on what we're doing, that's a better chance, but there is no age. As soon as they get on, there's that risk.
So with group texting, if someone adds you to a group text, without your knowledge, or after you get a group text,
yep.
What do you recommend for those kids to do at that point?
I recommend, if let's say for example, you guys were in a group text about what you want to do this weekend, and I got included, and you invited me, I would private message you, hey, it sounds good, I'll see you there. Not even take part in the group message, because it just never stays on topic.
Right.
Even as adults, you might start off with, hey, what's everyone doing for dinner? Next thing you know, someone's arguing about Red Sox versus Yankee, and we've lost complete focus of what we were talking about. Right. It's very easy to do. Sometimes with kids, though, the mean comments could be misunderstood, or it could be directed towards somebody, and they don't need that. So staying out of it would be the best bet.
So I know a lot of this might be picking up as we get back to school, too, because the kids are getting more connected. Let me just ask you, for younger kids, it seems younger and younger. I know Musical.ly is a big one. We're talking about that. All the little kids want to be on Musical.ly. Should you allow your kids to do some of this social media even at a young age, or should you just keep it private, or should you just say no?
Well, if you are going to do social media, private is the way to go, but that has to be monitored. We can have it set to private, but if you approve every follow request, you're not private, it's open to the public. Almost every social media has a minimum age of 13, and that's established by the social media app. Now, I don't think it's because of how the 13-year-olds use it. I think it's how other people use it and what our 13-year-olds get exposed to. Right. And at 13 or below, they just might not be ready to handle a mean comment, a request from a stranger, because all they see is a screen. And that's a hard connection to make sometimes, that this is somebody on the other end of the screen. It's not just a computer wanting to be my friend, it's somebody. And at a younger age, that might be difficult. But if they start it, the foundation of communication with family is so key. This is what we expect. My company, we came up with contracts. So before you even join the internet, here's a contract and what the expectations are and what the consequences will be. So there's no misunderstanding from parents. Hey, you violated our rule. You lose the phone for this time. Right. You agreed to it on this date and time. Right. So it starts the good use. I'm really trying to empower good use. It's not going away. We have to use it safely.
I think I'm going to have a contract at my home where you can't have a phone until you're 18. How about, can I do that?
Right, and I mean, good luck. How's that working? But if you are a part of a parent group, or you want to have Scott do a program at your school, this is what you do, and I know you're going to be coming back on Better Connecticut throughout this season. You can reach out to him. I guess we'll be able to find those contracts there, too.
Absolutely.
At internetsafetyconcepts.com. I love the idea of a contract. I'm definitely printing one out.
I'm doing it. It's absolutely going to happen.
All right.